Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Compound You. I'm Emmett Gillis, and today we're starting a journey that could transform your financial future forever. Let me ask you something. What if I told you that the decisions you make about money in the next few years will determine whether you spend your life stressed about finances or living with true financial peace? What if the difference between struggling and thriving comes down to starting just a few years earlier? I want you to imagine two scenarios for a moment. In the first, you're 45 years old, lying awake at night, worrying about how you'll pay for your kids' yeshiva tuition, wondering if you'll ever be able to afford to help with their weddings, stressed about every unexpected expense. In the second scenario, you're that same 45-year-old, but instead of stress, you feel calm confidence. You have money set aside for tuition, you're already planning for your children's future simchas, and when your washing machine breaks, it's an inconvenience, not a crisis. The difference between these two futures isn't your salary, your luck, or even how much Hashem blesses you financially. The difference is the decisions you make right now, today. In your 20s and early 30s. In the Torah, we learn about two fundamental concepts that guide everything we do: bitachon and ishtadlus. Bitachon means trusting in Hashem, knowing that He's the ultimate source of all parnasa and blessing. Ishtadlus means doing our part, taking the actions that Hashem expects us to take in this world. When it comes to money, both are absolutely essential. We trust that Hashem provides, and we make wise decisions with what He gives us. Some people think these concepts are in tension. Like if you truly trust Hashem, you shouldn't worry about money at all. But that's a misunderstanding. The Gemara tells us that even though our parnasa is decreed from Rosh Hashanah, we still have to work for it. Financial planning isn't a lack of faith. It's how we fulfill our obligation of ishtadlus. Today, we're talking about why your 20s are the golden decade for building wealth and how Torah values guide us in making smart financial choices from day one. The Gemara teaches us in Pirkei Avos, Ezu Asher Hasameach B'chelkai, who is rich? One who is happy with their portion. This is one of the most quoted verses about money in our tradition, but also one of the most misunderstood. Some people read it and think it means we should just accept whatever we have and never try to improve our situation. But if that were true, why would the same Gemara be filled with discussions about business ethics, fair wages, and proper contracts? Why would the same Chachamim, who taught about being happy with your portion, also emphasize the importance of having a trade, planning ahead, and providing for our families? The answer is that being happy with your portion doesn't mean being passive or complacent about your lot. It means not being consumed by jealousy of what others have, not defining your worth by your wealth, and not letting money become your God. But within that framework of contentment and perspective, we absolutely have an obligation to manage our resources wisely. Let me share a story that illustrates this point beautifully. The Chafetz Chaim was once asked why he spent so much time fundraising for his yeshiva, if he truly trusted in Hashem's providence. He answered with a mashal, a parable. A man was drowning in a river. A boat came by and the captain offered to save him. The man said, "No, thank you. I'll trust in Hashem." A second boat came by with the same offer and the same response. A third boat, same thing repeated. The man finally drowned. When he got to heaven, he asked God, "Why didn't you save me? I trusted in you." God said, "I sent you 3 boats." Financial planning is one of the boats Hashem sends us. It's not a lack of faith. It's recognizing that Hashem often works through natural means, and He expects us to use the tools He gives us. Taking care of your financial future isn't selfish. It's actually a mitzvah. When you're financially stable, you can give more tzedakah without it hurting. You can support your family better, reducing stress and creating shalom bayis. You can serve Hashem without the constant distraction of financial worry. You can be generous with guests, help family members in need, and support charity institutions. The Rambam writes about the highest level of tzedakah being to help someone become self-sufficient. Well, by becoming self-sufficient yourself, you free up resources to help others reach that level too. The key is balance. We pursue financial wisdom not for greed, not for status, not to impress others, but to create a foundation for a meaningful Jewish life. Every dollar you manage wisely becomes a tool for doing good in this world. Every dollar you save is future freedom to choose what matters most. Here's something that will absolutely blow your mind. The money you save in your 20s is literally worth more than money you save in any other decade of your life. Not because dollars are worth more when you're young, but because of something called compound interest, what Albert Einstein supposedly called the eighth wonder of the world. Let me tell you about two friends from the same yeshiva. We'll call them Avi and Yossi. Both are smart guys, both care about their futures, but they make different choices about when to start saving. Avi starts saving $300 a month when he's 22 years old, right after he gets married and starts his first real job. It's not easy. $300 feels like a lot when you're just starting out, but he commits to it. He does this faithfully for 10 years, investing in a simple stock market index fund that averages 7% growth per year. Then at age 32, life happens. Kids are coming, expenses are mounting, and he stops contributing completely. He never adds another dollar, but he leaves his money invested. Yossi takes a different approach. He spends his 20s enjoying life, traveling, upgrading his apartment, buying nice things. I'll start saving when I'm more established, he tells himself. At age 32, he finally starts saving the exact same $300 per month in the exact same investment model, getting 7% returns. But here's the catch. He keeps saving for 30 years until he's 62. Yaakov saved for only 10 years. Avi saves for 30 years, 3 times as long. Who do you think ends up with more money at age 62? Yaakov ends up with over 1.1 million. Yossi, despite saving 3 times as long and contributing almost 3 times as much money, ends up with only about 850,000. Yaakov wins by over 250K, even though he stopped saving 30 years earlier. How is this possible? Time. Those extra 10 years of compound growth made all the difference. Every dollar Yaakov invested in his 20s had 40 years to grow. Every dollar Yossi invested in his 30s had only 30 years to grow. That 10-year difference created a $250,000 advantage. But here's what's even more incredible. Let's say Yaakov had continued saving throughout his 30s too, instead of stopping. If he had saved $300 a month for 40 years instead of just 10, he would have ended up with over 2.3 million. The moral of the story, start early, but if possible, don't stop. Now I know what some of you are thinking. I don't have $300 a month. I'm barely making ends meet as it is. I hear you. I want you to know that the principle works with any amount. If you can only save $50 a month, that's still $50 a month that has decades to compound and grow. Let me break this down another way. Every year you delay starting to save costs you money that you can never get back. If you wait 1 year to start investing $100 a month, that's not just $1,200 you miss out on. That's $1,200 that could have grown for 40 years. At 7% growth, compounding, that 1 year of delay costs you over $16,000 in retirement. This is why starting in your 20s and 30s is so important. It's not just that those are years where saving makes a difference over time. It's that every year of delay is a year of growth you lose forever. You can't go back in time and give your money those extra years to compound. You can start right now, today, wherever you are. Your 20s are your golden decade because time is your most valuable asset, and you have even more of it now than you'll ever have again. Living a Torah lifestyle means we have certain expenses that others don't have to worry about. Kosher food costs more, sometimes double or triple the price. We have Shabbos and Yontif expenses that add up throughout the year. Many of us pay substantial Jewish school tuition for our children. We attend simchas regularly and give gifts. These are real costs, and they're not optional if we want to live authentic Jewish lives. But here's where we need to be brutally honest with ourselves. Not everything we think we need for Jewish living is actually necessary. The social pressure in our communities can be incredibly intense. Everyone seems to have the latest everything. To take expensive family vacations on Pesach, to wear designer clothes, drive nice cars, live in beautiful homes. I want to share something with you that might be uncomfortable to hear. Much of this pressure comes from confusing Jewish values with Jewish lifestyle competition. There's a difference between honoring Shabbos with beautiful objects and trying to impress others with expensive objects. There's a difference between celebrating simchas appropriately and trying to outdo every other simcha you've ever attended. Here is a simple but powerful test I want you to use for your next significant purchase. Will this make my life more meaningful in 5 years? Notice, I said meaningful, not easier, not more comfortable, not more impressive, meaningful. For example, a beautiful set of Shabbos candles that you'll use every Shabbos for decades and hopefully pass down to your children. That adds lasting meaning to your life and your family's Jewish experience. But how about a designer Shabbos outfit that you'll wear a few times before it goes out of style? Probably not adding that same lasting value. Another example, spending money on a family trip to Israel where your children will connect with their heritage and create lifelong memories. That's an investment with meaning. Spending the same amount on a luxury resort vacation that you'll forget about in a few years, probably not the same return on investment. The goal isn't to live like a monk or to deprive yourself of all pleasures. Judaism celebrates physical enjoyment when it's elevated by spiritual purpose. The goal is to spend intentionally on what truly matters and save aggressively on what doesn't, so you can afford to be generous with the things that enhance your Jewish life and support your family's future. This means getting comfortable with being different from others in your community sometimes. It means saying no to certain social pressures. It means choosing substance over style, meaning over image. Remember, the wealthiest people you know often live more modestly than you'd expect. They became wealthy not by spending on everything they wanted, but by being selective about what they really needed. The Rambam teaches us a fundamental principle of human nature. We are what we repeatedly do. This is especially true when it comes to money. Every financial decision you make is either building good habits or reinforcing bad ones. Here's the beautiful thing about good financial habits. They compound just like money does. When you automatically save part of every paycheck, when you pause and think before making purchases, when you consistently live below your means, these habits get stronger over time until they become as natural as brushing your teeth. But bad habits compound too, and they compound faster than you might think. When you spend without thinking, when you use credit for wants instead of needs, when you consistently tell yourself, I'll start saving next month, or I'll get serious about money next year, these patterns become deeply ingrained and get harder to break as time goes on. The incredible thing is that you get to choose which habits to build starting right now. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start with something small. Maybe saving $25 from every paycheck, or implementing a 24-hour waiting period before you make any purchase over $100. Small habits, practiced consistently, grow into life-changing results. The earlier you start, the more time these habits have to transform your financial future. Here's what I want you to take away from today. Hashem has given you an incredible gift in this stage of your life, the gift of time. The earlier you start making wise financial decisions, the more that gift multiplies and compounds. Your assignment for this week is simple but powerful. I want you to stop learning about investing and actually start investing. Go to Vanguard.com and open a Roth IRA account. Set up automatic investing of just $25 each month into VOO. That's the ticker symbol for Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF, which tracks the 500 largest companies in America. Why $25? Because it's small enough that almost anyone can afford it, but significant enough to start building real wealth. That's less than $1 a day. You probably spend more than that on coffee. Why VOO specifically? Because you're buying a tiny piece of 500 of the most successful companies in the world. When Apple grows, you grow. When Microsoft grows, you grow. You're not trying to pick winners. You're buying the whole winning team. Why automate it? Because automation removes emotion and procrastination from the equation. Set it up once. Every month you're building wealth, whether you think about it or not. I promise you, taking this one action will teach you more about investing than watching 100 YouTube videos. Once you have real money in the market, you'll start paying attention differently. You'll start understanding how wealth actually gets built. Next week, we're diving deep into compound interest. We're going to break down exactly how it works, why it's so powerful, and how you can harness it starting immediately. Trust me, once you truly understand this concept, you'll never look at money the same way again. Remember our guiding principle: start small, start now, start with Emunah. Hashem helps those who help themselves, and the tools for financial success are right in front of you. Until next time, this is Compound You.